After accidentally spilling red wine on my dress on the way to Ascot, I deliberately spilt more wine on it and pretended it was part of the pattern.
David's team.
So where was the initial spillage?
In my lap.
And how did you spill red wine?
Red wine, because we were being driven to Royal Ascot and...
So it was just normal car wine?
Some wine because I thought it would be a good way to start the day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately...
Drinking in the car.
Yes. And I couldn't turn back because I was meant to be presenting a trophy.
Did anybody comment on it during the day?
Actually, somebody told me they thought it was a rather... how very modern, someone said to me. I said, oh, yes, it came from, and I named a designer that I thought was kind of fashionable.
Merlot.
It came from Merlot, yeah.
How did you put the wine on?
In a straw.
A straw?
Just taking a... Yeah, just take a mouthful...
You drink your wine with a straw?
Well, I was trying not to spill it on me, but it didn't work.
That's a horrible image, isn't it?
Oh.
Clare Balding, 10 o'clock in the morning, on the way to the races. Well, I'm presenting. No, I'm not! Oh, bloody heck. Here's a favour, pour all that on me dress.
OK.
It's just
If you had been drinking the wine from a straw initially...
To try not to spill it on myself.
How did you spill it?
Unfortunately, didn't get the straw back into the bottle.
Why did you remove it from the bottle, having put it in?
I don't know.
Because that's the thing. When you put a straw in, that's just... You then leave the straw. You don't say, OK, now...
Listen, it doesn't reflect well on me. This is a day I would rather have forgotten.
But this also must have been a special straw that you have, because it must have been long to get to the bottom of the bottle of wine. So you
well, I didn't want to drink the whole bottle, Greg.
You're telling me it's a full bottle of wine? It's with a straw? She's getting worse. I thought it was a miniature.
It's a smaller bottle, like your little, you know...
Oh, that's better. I want the... Oh, it's gone. Oh, stop here at Thresher's, driver. Stop here. I'll need 5 straws. I need to link them. Oh, I'm looking at it again.
I'm not proud. I'm not proud because, unfortunately, that is quite an accurate reflection of that day.
So, was Claire telling the truth? Did it happen, Victoria?
It's sort of insane, but I want to say true.
What do you think?
I refuse to believe that.
I think it's true.
Saying true. Clare Balding, truth or lie?
It's a lie. The first time I went to Germany, I knew only one German phrase. And bizarrely, an accident occurred which required me to use it.
David's team.
What was the phrase?
Entschuldigen Sie bitte. Mein Vater ist in den Frisch gefallen.
I don't speak German. Is that a phrase, or is that just a random German sentence?
Are you asking what does it mean?
Yeah. I don't need to like it.
It means, excuse me, please, my father has fallen in the river.
That well-known German phrase. Had your father fallen into rivers elsewhere for you to learn that phrase?
No.
Was he like a serial...
River, no.
But why would you learn that phrase unless you had a habit of falling into rivers before you went to Germany? You thought, I better just check that out. So you, total coincidence. I think I learned the phrase, my father fell in the river. Yes. You went to Germany and your father fell in the river. Right. I think I'm ready.
You see,
I think I'm ready. I decided. I don't know what I'm going early on this one.
So what happened with your dad, and who did you say that phrase to? Were you just shouting it from the banks?
No, we were skiing, and he skied off. He was going off piste, and he skied into a little river by mistake.
What is the German emergency? Is it 999? That could cause all sorts of difficulty, couldn't it? Because they're saying to German, do you need help? And you're saying 999, and they go, forget it. And
I didn't.
But when you dial 999, Lee, do you then say to them 999? No. You've got one of those old phones where you have to call to the operator and go 999 at once. The vicar has been taken ill.
Claire, who did you end up saying this phrase to?
To a passerby.
A skier?
Yes.
Right.
No, tennis player, Rob.
I flagged them down.
You flagged
Wow, she's going fast.
So you spoke to this passing skier, who was just another holidaymaker, another skier. What happened?
Well, luckily they were English.
Ah.
So they had no idea what you were saying.
No, absolutely no idea.
So you spoke to them, and then what happened?
They helped me pull him out.
Right.
But
okay.
then all evening I was able to say that my father had fallen in the river in Gem.
Right.
What are you thinking, Nick?
Well, I think that you would have just initially said help if this was a true story. You wouldn't have been like, let me just remember this very weird German sentence.
I'm not sure, but I find it hard to think ill of Clare Balding. I think she's telling the truth.
Oh.
No, if she's lying, it wouldn't reflect badly on her character if she was lying.
It would. Even within the parameters of this game, I still don't think she would.
So, what are you going to say?
Lie.
Lie for me.
True.
True, absolutely.
I think lie.
You're saying lie. OK, they're saying it's a lie. Claire, truth or lie?
Would I? It's true.
So please welcome this week's special guest, Greg. So, Claire, what is Greg to you?
This is Greg, and he is the RSPCA officer who came to my aid when a squirrel climbed into my handbag and wouldn't get out.
Rob Delaney, how do you know Greg?
Well, this is Greg, and we once stayed up all night together, holding on to a fence when a game of who can hold on to the fence the longest got out of hand.
Finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Greg?
This is Greg. I was so nervous about appearing on TV for the first time that I made him come with me and pretend we were a double act.
David's team, where do you want to start?
So, Claire, where were you when the squirrel jumped into your handbag?
I was filming in Devon for Country File, and I was doing one of those links, you know, when you walk along the cliff top, essentially, and I'd left my bag under a tree, and sometimes there are little sweeties left in it, and I assume that is why the squirrel got in it.
Yeah.
You know when you get those selection chocolates and there's some, the topics that nobody likes? I think I'd left, except unless you're a squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case,
Well, it's the one thing they say about squirrels, they're not fussy when it comes to Quality Street. So as you approached the bag, what
Yes.
did you see? How were you alerted to
It was moving.
And what did you do then? Did you continue to approach?
yeah, I thought there's something in my bag. And then when I got close, I thought it'll jump out because I'm near to it, but it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So you're approaching the bag, Claire.
Bag is
It's
moving.
moving about. You know
Yes.
there's a squirrel. You continue to approach.
Yes.
What happens then?
The squirrel's doing its thing and
Continues to
probably,
rummage.
going through my diary. My
Helping
phone.
yourself to a strawberry cream.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know
Yeah.
why people are so fussy.
The cameraman said, "Don't touch it because you might get bitten," and he said, "We'll call the RSPCA. They'll know what to do."
Had you tried shaking? Had you tried tipping it upside down?
No, because all the
I've seen
stuff's
women do
in
that
my-
to get things out.
No, not if you've got earrings in the bag as well, in the middle of a field in Devon. You're not going to do that.
That's a great image of the squirrel wearing the earrings and reading the diary. She's got a busy December. No wonder she's got a full dates.
So they rang the RSPCA. Greg came up to a
Yes.
cliff top in Devon,
It did take a while.
and the squirrel was still in your bag.
Yeah.
How did he get it out? How did he get the squirrel out
As
of
it
the bag?
happened, I think the squirrel had probably had enough by then, so he didn't even have to do very
Oh,
much.
the squirrel came out of his own accord?
Indeed. Yes, he approached the bag.
All right, David, what about the others?
OK, Rob, a fence-holding-on contest
Yes.
that got out of hand.
Yes,
You said all night, Rob, was that right? It went on all night, the fence holding...
correct.
Are you standing on the fence and holding... Are you
No, we're standing
on
next
the
to a
ground?
fence. We're standing next to a wooden picket fence, touching it.
And where were you?
We were in Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
One of you said, I'm not saying it's boring here in Massachusetts, but who fancies holding onto that fence all night?
Fair. There had just been a documentary that was sweeping the nation called Hands on a Hard Body, and it was about these people who could win a Toyota pickup truck if whoever held on to whoever touched it for the longest. So we had just seen this documentary, and we were very drunk, So we were like, wouldn't it be funny if we did this? And then we did it for 9 hours.
And who is Greg? I mean, how was he there?
Greg is the older brother. You can see he's quite a bit older than me. He was the older brother of my friend that I went to college with.
Did you learn a lot about Greg?
More than I'd care to know.
Could we have 5 Greg facts?
Opened his own bakery.
Let's see.
That's the big one.
Who won? We agreed at 5 o'clock in the morning that we were both winners, and that as 5 a.m. approached,
So you started this at what time?
about 8 p.m.
You started that at 8 p.m. That seems very early to start a fence-holding game.
Yeah, it's quite early to go that strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you started drinking?
4 or so in the afternoon.
All right, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
OK, now what about Lee?
Okay, Lee.
Just remind us of what it was that you said.
This is Greg, and I was so nervous about my first TV appearance that I made him come along with me and pretend we were a double act.
What was your first TV appearance?
It was on a programme called Pump Television.
What's that?
It was a sort of magazine sort of type show. It was a bit funky and happening. It was like the One Show, but for people that are allowed out in the day.
And what were you doing on the show?
Just being interviewed. It was Reading Television, and I just won a competition for new comedians up in Edinburgh.
What year was this?
1995.
But you didn't win in Edinburgh till 1997.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I've completely messed up the story. I went on the show, Pump TV, to tell them that I could predict the future.
You know, you said to us that you were a double act. What sort of a double act?
So I rang up and said, oh, sorry, I'm actually... I do a bit of double act work as well. Can I bring my double act partner on as well? And they said, yeah, fine, what does your double act partner do? And without thinking, I said, he's a juggler.
What happened when you got there? Did he have to get there and juggle?
Well, this is the thing. There's another twist to this story, because obviously...
Is the other twist to this story there is a complete lie?
No, that... I don't think that would be a twist. So he comes on the show, and I tell him fairly last minute, I think with maybe an hour or two's notice, oh, by the way, I may have told them that you were a juggler. So now he's panicking, isn't he? So what does he do? Because he thinks he's going to be asked to juggle on the show, and he can't juggle.
Yeah.
So he bandaged his arm up. And so thus he wasn't... If they said, can you juggle, he can say, I can't, I've hurt my arm.
So all the way there in the car, you're not talking about why you're driving all those ways?
We didn't drive together. I couldn't. He'd injured his arm juggling. No, that's not... that's not right, is he? No, I'm starting to think. No, I met him at the studio because he actually is from Reading. That's handy, isn't it? That was good.
Was there any other guests on the TV show?
I can't remember. I think there was a person who had a dog and the dog did something.
Yeah.
There was a bit of... It's a magazine.
Or maybe he actually didn't have a dog, but he just persuaded the dog to come on because he was nervous.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team. Is Greg Claire's squirrel saviour, Rob's fence feeler, or Lee's pretend partner?
It's a pretty unappetising menu, isn't it?
I don't believe Clare Balding. I don't believe that she would be scared. Somebody who hosts Country Fire.
If there was a sound man there with a boom, you could have used that furry boom to entice... Like, maybe you could have pretended it was a badger.
Also, if you were a lady and you saw your handbag moving, you wouldn't immediately think squirrel in there, would you? You'd think, oh, God, it's gone off again.
What about Rob's story?
There was a lot of detail with Rob's fence-holding story.
I like Rob's. It could very well be true, but...
I think so. Greg's hands were made for holding on to fences.
So you think Rob, who do you think?
I think because Lee so rarely sounds plausible, I think it'd be nice to give him a little go.
I think that when Lee went on Pump TV in 1995 with an average viewing figure of 14, he was too nervous to go on his own.
I do.
Yeah, I think Rob.
You're going to say Rob Delaney.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
OK, so, Greg, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Greg, and I pretended to be in a double act with Lee.
Greg is Lee's pretend partner. Now, you have a picture of Lee and Greg on TV together. There they are.
Look, see Greg in the
taking
picture.
you nice and serious together.
Who's the really skinny fella?
Who's the 70-year-old man who's done it?
I'll tell you what, David. Coming from you, that is rich.
It was
It is true,
Greg.
I was very thin. I was 9 stone, though. I was a skinny lad.
Blimey.
Good Lord. But we've made great advances in medicine, and he's here with us today. Thanks very much, Greg.
To win a bet, I presented a 3-minute piece to camera live from Royal Ascot in a full-length evening gown with Willie Carson concealed beneath my skirts.
For people that aren't sure, here's a picture. There we are.
Whose idea was the bet?
The director. We've come off air. I put on the long ball gown. Willie waits. He stands on a box when he's presenting with me normally. Obviously, to fit under my skirts, he didn't. In fact, he knelt. And he was quiet as a mouse. He was very good.
No one said it yet. I wanted to say it.
What? Sorry,
What did she say? I didn't hear what you
I wanted to
said.
say there was a willy under her skirt.
now it's out there.
I'd like to request someone more mature on my team.
I mean, I know Willie Carson is not a burly man.
No, he's very small.
But I would still think that must be quite a substantial dress.
It was a very, you know, like as you sometimes get in costume dramas, it didn't have the hoops, but it had a very full skirt.
But how did he get in, though? Were you stood there? Did you
I
go,
stood.
come on, Willie?
He crawled along on the ground and then knelt under there. And it's a 3-minute piece, so the first 2 minutes was absolutely fine, and on I went and rattled on about normal racing stuff. And then he started to giggle, and that's what gave it away. But because we got 2 of the 3 minutes, the bet was won.
Recreate the piece to camera.
OK, so I stand there and I say hello and welcome to Royal Ascot. We've had a stunning first day here with a win for Frankie Dettori. We saw his flying dismount, and then there's first squeak then from Willie. He goes, because he's got a very high laugh, and I like smacked him, and so to stop.
Is this why Channel 4 have got the horse race?
Right, David, what do you think?
What do you think, Dale?
Do you know, I'm really beginning to believe that she'd have done it for a prank.
I think it was an excellent acting performance, but I believe it to be a lie.
Oh, you see, now I have to make a decision. But I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
That's that's
OK.
fine, yeah.
Claire, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling it was a lie.
So please welcome this week's special guests, Robert and Will. So, Claire, what are Robert and Will to you?
This is Robert and Will. They do my garden, and to avoid the embarrassment of me ever getting them mixed up, I call them both Barry.
OK. Lee, how do you know Robert and Will?
This is Robert and Will. I once used them to convince an audience I could teleport people.
And finally, Miranda, your relationship with Robert and Will?
This is Robert and Will. I was a judge at the Identical Twins of the Year award, and they came third, but we had to disqualify them because it turns out they were 2 of triplets.
Wow. There we have it. So, Claire's green-fingered Barrys, Lee's teleporting twosome, or Miranda's cheating triplets. David, where'd you begin?
Explain the rationale behind the Identical Twins of the Year awards.
Well, I have to say, when I was asked to come along and judge, I was a little confused, but I think there's a sort of magazine or trade magazine, or there was some...
A trade magazine? What's the trade?
Twins!
For the marketing of twins.
Twins.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've actually heard of the competition, yes. There is a competition to do
There
with
are.
twins.
What do they have to do in the competition?
Well, there's the physical look-alike thing, like how much they look alike.
Okay. Right.
And then they also do kind of games like Mr. and Mrs. type games, so it's a personality thing as well.
How did they do? Did they win, or...?
No, they came third, but they were then disqualified.
What? Oh, because of the triplets thing?
Yeah. And we did see a third, but I didn't see it, but apparently there's a third one.
So the triplet turned up to this event?
Yes!
That's not exactly Moscow rules, is it?
The third one was picking them up to take them home. And was seen.
Claire, Robert and Will are your gardeners, and you call them both Barry. Isn't that a bit of sort of an affront to their individuality?
No, because the first time I did it, I said, would you like a cup of tea, Barry, love? And as soon as you put love on the end of it, they're fine with it. They just smiled and a cup of tea, and they were fine. And do you know, a lot of... when sound engineers work a lot on outside broadcast, they all call each other Percy. They all call each other Purse, and so they call me Purse as well, and I call them Purse, and I called them Barry.
Yeah. Why?
Because they work with so many different people, they can't actually remember everyone's names.
Are you sure they're not trying to mug you?
Purse!
Purse!
Those nails, they're very clean for gardeners, aren't they?
Well, I hope they've had a bath before they've come tonight.
No, but they are pristine, beautiful, soft hands. I'm not coming on to you.
Richard, if you want to go and have a look, you can.
Thank you very much. I'd love to do that.
You're not allowed to touch, but you can look.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a look, Dale? Would you like to
Not
get up close?
particularly.
Really?
I will go on then.
I'm now not as attracted to these hands as I once was. There's actually some dirt under the nails.
All right. Don't touch, Dale. Just
Could
look.
you turn them over?
I feel I should have a look as well. Or it'll look unconscientious.
This here looks like it actually... That could be the remnants of soil.
They're not very big, so...
You know what your gardener's hands look like?
I don't know.
Unlike everyone else here, apparently, I don't have a gardener. I know you probably expect I'd have about 9.
What did you think of what you saw there, Richard? How did the hands rate for you?
That's actually really thrown me a little bit now, and I sort of slightly regret going over there, to be honest.
What did they look like?
Well, from this distance, they're beautiful, pristine, manicured hands, and actually close up, there's some dirt under the nails.
I hope to God these poor fellas are gardeners.
There was
not, by the way.
Lee.
Yeah. Now, you're going to bother going through this one, are you?
What was this particular show? You were trying to pretend to the audience that you were able to teleport people.
Correct.
Was it a stage show or TV show?
Was it a stage show or a TV show?
Oh, that's funny. Are you an interpreter of Dale?
I thought you'd said it. I'd missed it, so I was asking my team captain.
So what's your friend saying, David?
What was it, a stage show or a TV show?
OK. It was a stage show.
And where was it on?
It was on at the Hackney Empire.
And when was it on?
It was on in the mid-90s.
And what was it called?
It was a new act competition for new people, and I thought I'll do a magic trick because it'll impress everyone.
Yeah, make up for the comedy. What you said at the end? I'm sorry, everyone, but I can't teleport.
Talk me through the act. What did you do?
Good. Magic circle, love. Magic circle.
Right.
Can't tell you anything.
You don't have to tell us.
So, what's the illusion we're supposed to be seeing?
So I'm not going to tell you how much it's a magic circle. You're not going to say how you made it look as if you teleported.
Oh, no.
Oh, I see. You're very wise. We'll never...
I'm not giving away my secrets on television.
So go on, Lee. What did you do? You're there on the stage. The audience are enwrapped.
So I come on and I bring someone out of the audience and then I put them in a box at one side of the stage, or in a cupboard, actually. I put them in a cupboard. And then I do a bit of the showbiz magic.
Yeah.
Said a few words, not remember now. Might have been Alakazam. And then did the side, and then I open up a box, and out comes the first person who's gone in. Out the other. Well, it looks like that.
Yeah.
But clearly he's already in the box. And he sits down, and the audience give me a big round of applause. So that's actually quite good. And he goes and sits down in the seat.
So you've done the teleport thing. Then what do you do?
Straight into the levitation. I'm not an idiot.
Actually, as a technique for a magic trick and trying to make it look as though someone's magicked across the room, it's actually quite clever using identical twins.
Do you still do it in the act,
Hey, don't tell me. Tell the judges that night.
Well, how did you do?
Awful. Came third. Turns out I was a triplet.
Right, we need an answer. So, David's team. Are Robert and Will Claire's green-fingered Barrys, Lee's teleporting twosome, or Miranda's cheating triplets?
What do you think, Dale?
I think it's Lee. I think he's telling the truth.
OK, Richard, what about you?
I don't believe Lee, and they had a bit of soil on their hands. I think the gardeners.
David, what about you?
I don't think Lee did a random magic trick at the beginning of his tryout spot at the Hackney Empire in 1995. Maybe he did, but I don't believe it. So I think I agree with Richard. I think it's Claire.
You think it's Claire?
Yeah.
OK, here we go. Robert and Will, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Robert. I'm Will, and Lee tried to convince an audience that he could teleport.
Yes, Lee used Robert and Will to convince an audience he could teleport someone. Thank you very much, Robert and Will.